So last week we published 2 videos for you guys. Canning 101, basically. How to water bath can and how to pressure can foods. And there was a lot of comments in both of those videos.
Yes, a lot of questions.
And a lot of questions. And while we tried our best, we always try our best to go through the comment section and answer everything that we can. We don't have the time for it.
And honestly, you could probably do like 5 video series to really go over everything. Like there was so many comments like you forgot to mention this and you forgot to mention that. There's just so much information. I was really trying to keep it basic, but let's get into
kind of 101.
Yeah, let's just get into some of those questions.
Yeah, so I went through both water bath canning comments and pressure canning, came up with a list. I got maybe like 20. So we're going to go through them fast with you guys.
Okay.
And because otherwise we'll be here for a long time.
Yeah, I'll try not to elaborate too much. Hopefully they're all yes/no questions.
So are you or were you concerned about the expiration dates on the big number 10 cans of food?
No. That's just me. No, I assume that they're in a restaurant store and that they are not expired. I'm not buying from an expired store.
Okay. Don't you have to boil your lids first to soften the seal?
No, you don't. Actually, that's an old lids. In the old days, you did. You don't have to do that anymore. A lot of people still do, but you don't.
Mm-hmm. I didn't really see you put vinegar in the water of your canner anywhere in the video, even though you did, I guess.
Okay, yeah. So and you don't have to do that. You only have to do that if you have hard water.
All right. What temperature was your oven set to when you sterilized your jars, and how long did you leave them in there?
I think it was like 350, and I had them in there for probably 10 minutes.
All right. Do you also raw pack chicken too, or do you prefer the pre-cooked hot pack chicken?
I have raw packed it. I prefer cooking it first because it's much easier to debone. To cut it off the bone raw is a pain in the rear end.
Slimy.
Yeah.
Why do you put water in the bottom of your roasting pan?
That doesn't have anything to do with canning, though. But I'll answer it. That is a wow. What a question! Thousands of questions on that. So a roaster just doesn't cook evenly. It doesn't. It's not the way it's built. So I put water in there to distribute the heat evenly. It's like a conductor. And then also it keeps, a lot of people complain that the roasters scald on the edges and leave really burnt, cruddy stuff on the inside. And I notice I can avoid that greatly by having that water in there.
Very good. I lost my spot.
Right there.
Why do you not season the ground beef while it was cooking before you put it in your jars?
I certainly have. And I have videos on doing that, but that wasn't the intent of the video. The video was just basics, how to can your meat.
Mm-hmm. You season it as you warm it up. Then you can turn it into anything that you want. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the Tattler lids? You've used them before, right?
I have, yep, and I've done a video on this, but, I know there's just so many videos to dig through. So Tattler lids, I personally love them for pressure canning. I find that I've never had a sealed fail using Tattler lids pressure canning. I think it can pull down on that rubber gasket hard enough. I would use them confidently with water bath canning if my recipe called for like a 30-minute water bath, but I have had too many failed Tattler lids on like jellies and jams that are very short processing times, so I will not use them on those.
How long does canned food last? Like this chicken, for example. What's the shelf life?
I think that if you read what was on published documents, it would probably say 18 months to 2 years is what the USDA or National Food Preservation Council website, whatever that website is. I will tell you, we have consumed products 3-4 years later just fine. The things that you will start noticing after that shelf life is the color is going to get weaker. Maybe the product's going to get softer. The flavor might not be as vibrant, but it's not unsafe.
Mm-hmm. And even like jellies and jam sometimes.
Yeah, it can start breaking down the pectin.
The sugar will crystallize inside and it'll be a little crunchy, and if it's really old. Have you freeze-dried broth to make powder before?
We have. Yep, and we have a video on that.
Can I can on an electric stove? What about a Glasstop stove?
Water bath, I would say you're being pretty safe. I water bath canned a lot on my Glasstop stove. Now, read your manufacturer's manual that comes with it. They will tell you guidance, and I would assume most Glasstop stoves say not to can on them. With pressure canning, definitely stay away from it. In my opinion, you're just asking for trouble. It might not happen the first time, but over time, you'll likely get a crack or something like that. We've actually noticed even on our cast iron grates that we have on our gas range, that just how much pressure canning we do in the high heat has even warped some of our cast iron grates a little bit.
Yeah, it has. Where can I get those big giant cans of food? Those big number 10 cans.
So you can find them even at Walmart's, or Meijer, any of your, whatever your local grocery store is. A lot of times, I can't remember what aisle ours is on, but they'll be on like the bottom shelf in like the condiment section or something like that. They're usually around. Just ask them, a grocer, where do I find the bulk canned goods? But if you don't have that access, find your local restaurant supply store. I don't know. We have Gordon Food Supply near us. I don't know what you guys have.
This one's kind of a two-parter, and this was asked like multiple ways. So how do you know the processing times when water bathing each type of food? What books do you recommend for guides and rules?
Yes, so get yourself a ball book, number one, and we'll have a link to our Amazon store below, and it's there if you don't know where to find it. That's your basic guides that you'll get. So there are websites, so many websites out there. Look up
even the National Center for Food Preservation, something like that.
The National Center for Food Preservation website will have everything for you. There you will get lots of canning cookbooks. So from like the Amish that may not be as specific. So if you're looking for rules, Ball Book and National Center for Food Preservation will be where to go.
We'll link their website too as well down below the like button. When storing your finished jars, can you stack them?
No. Don't do that. No, you cannot. You can, before I had my big pantry, I would put them in the boxes like I showed you my ball boxes, and I would use a ball box on top. But you don't want glass on metal. You can get away with having some kind of insulation barrier between that, but if you can avoid it, avoid it.
And the reason is for that whole false seal problem, right?
Yep. Or you can actually cause a false seal by stacking. I mean, cause a seal to fail, not a false seal.
Lost my spot again. Different video, but I was just wondering how your freeze-dried dilly beans turned out. I just wrote somebody back today.
I think he did something to them, because I put one in my mouth and almost immediately gagged. I know I did. It was like eating a block of salt. And I was like, no way were these this salty when I canned them. So I don't know what they did through that freeze drying process or what you did to spice them up a bit, but they were inedible and they went to the chickens.
Mm-hmm. I sprinkled a tiny little, like one tiny pinch of salt across each tray, and that's all I did, and they were nasty.
Yeah, but you guys don't know what Todd's tiny pinch of salt looks like. I do.
When storing, are there any instances when a wide mouth is better than a regular mouth?
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I can't think of them right now, but I mean, I much prefer wide mouth over almost always. If it's not pourable and not liquid, I would say I like wide mouths, but I don't know what to say with, like, I like carrots in wide mouth. I like my green beans. I like a lot of things in wide mouth if it's not pourable.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to like have a narrow one and then jam pack the whole thing full of pickles, and then you got to try to get them out. That's kind of the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, but I do. I mean, just to say that, even though I have a preference, I use them equally.
Do you like the All-American or Presto canner better?
I have an affinity for my Presto canner. I hate to say it. I do. I love it. It's light. It's so simple to use. It doesn't take as long to heat up like my All-American. But then I love my All-American that it's so big and I can fit so much in it. Mm-hmm. And my All-American doesn't require as much maintenance as my Presto canner would. So I've had that question before, like and it might be in here, if you were to recommend me buying one as a brand new canner, should I just go all in with the All-American, or would you recommend I buy the Presto? Hands down, buy the Presto. There is absolutely no need to buy the All-American, and it is expensive, and there's no need to buy it until you get to a place where you realize that I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, and I need another canner. Then invest in an upgrade. But I could have easily, if I was just doing it hobby style, I could have lived with my Presto canner the rest of my life. All you're going to have to do is replace your gaskets and check your seals from time to time.
Yeah, and we've been done with a single pressure canner before, like double back-to-back batches before. So if you do go with an All-American, I would recommend the 930, because that's the smallest one that you can still double stack quart jars in. If you go smaller than a 930, you can't double stack quart jars, and then you're back to that whole space limitation thing. Mm-hmm. From the water bath canning video with the diced tomatoes that you did, can you add spices to the tomatoes before you can it, like Italian seasoning, the red pepper flakes?
Absolutely. Do whatever you want. Yes.
I think you covered this one, but just to clarify, is it okay to put different recipes? Not necessarily. Is it okay to put different recipes in the same pressure cooker batch as long as I use the 90-minute meat rule for quarts? I think they're talking about mixing pints and quarts together.
Yeah, I don't know that I would do pints and quarts for that long in a pressure canner. Maybe I would. I'm sure I would. I would do anything basically to can my food. But I thought they were asking about different recipes.
Well, it does specify recipes.
Yes. So I think that if you had, as long as you weren't canning something, like there's not that big of a difference. Now, if you were canning something that was a 25-minute pressure can with a 90-minute pressure can timing thing, you have to go the 90 minutes. And you're probably going to get some significant siphoning potentially of the other. I don't know. So I never do anything that's that big of a swing. If we're just talking like a 5-minute, 10-minute difference, I would do it, but not vice versa.
Did Todd like the canned ground beef with the broth in it? We cooked some last night for dinner. We tried to make up kind of like a mock form of fried rice, And I think it was a poor example of a meal to use because it was fried rice, and we basically took the ground beef and smashed it together with rice and eggs, and it kind of all broke down even smaller. So I can't really say yet. I think we need to do a different recipe like taco night or something like that so I can really judge the texture better. Do you have to boil or sanitize the lids and rings before you put them on jars?
The instructions are yes.
Yep. And I think you even said that in your video that technically you're supposed to do this, but she don't.
I don't.
Can you add cinnamon to the applesauce that you canned?
Yes. You can always add spices however you like to your canned foods. Like this is a jar of rhubarb apple crisp I threw together, or, you know, fruit. I could have put cinnamon, allspice, whatever I wanted. These are black beans. I always kind of, with half of them, throw in some taco seasoning. Yeah, you could totally do that.
And last one, can you provide a list of things that need to be pressure can versus water bath canning?
No, I cannot.
Well, I will find a website somewhere on the internet, and we'll put a link down below the like button for you guys.
Yeah, that's the information that you need to do your research and learn. Never advise anyone, just to learn from a YouTuber, from somebody making videos. That's why I said, and I get fussed at by those people that say, because I have a channel with an audience watching, I'm responsible for everybody's intelligence. I'm not. I will share with you. I will take moments to teach, but your education is your own, and you need to go out and do your own research, do your own study, get confident in your kitchen, get confident with the cleanliness of your household and your food, and you'll be a rock star in no time.
I agree. So that's the last one?
Oh, okay. That did go by fast.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for the questions. And
you're doing another collaboration canning video later this month?
Yep, I will be later this month. So I got to go down and dig in that freezer, see what's left to can.